the conductor of the Endor hype train.
Archer's fantastic. I definitely consider her a friend.
We got to hold the line against the other team, and it was very cool.
You just want to make content and just have something you can look back on. You win.
All of that time and energy, I'm just so happy, so grateful to have been there to experience this.
Why hello to all my fellow nerds and welcome back to another episode of Fast Tracked, a brand new podcast dedicated to the foam flinging community and the people that make it awesome. My name is Archer and I'm your dedicated veteran, admin, world-class queen of the hype, and host of Fast Tracked. We have found the long lost episode, the episode from season 1 that quite frankly should have happened a long time ago, but doesn't matter because guess what? It's happening now and that's all that matters. While we're all in the off season here, well, most of us anyway, I'm going to take you back to my event recap of Ragnarok Oktoberfest 2025. To my surprise, there's not that many podcasters anymore. Such is life, family, responsibility. I guess that kind of matters here. But I did manage to get all 3 captains from the Stalking Dead to reminisce about the weekend, their involvement in Ragnarok Oktoberfest as a whole, and the things that they are looking forward to in the 2026 season. Sounds pretty dope, so let's get right to it. So, for our first guest, we're going to be speaking with Dr. Flux. Dr. Flux is a YouTube content creator known for his blaster reviews, modifications, and community involvement at events over the past several years across the country. He currently works with Out of Darts to bring you the latest news on the foam flinging community, including the launch of their most recent monthly YouTube show, The Dart Pulse. He's looking forward to attending more events and wearing the next best hat to match his signature shades. He also was the captain of Blue Team during the Stalking Dead. We're also going to be speaking with Jessie. Jessie is the All Hail Praise Be Ragnarok Oktoberfest Zombie Queen of 2025. She is the better half of Ryan from Silver Fox Industries, and while I don't get to see her as often as I would like, she's been in the hobby and an integral part of its logistical success for the past several years. She's the co-founder of Waffle, the comp scene in PNW, which is located in the northwest of the United States. She's also a vendor and the captain of Fox Ups. She's currently looking forward to terrifying more humans in the 2026 season. And last but certainly not least, we're going to be speaking with Caster. Caster has been nerfing since 2029, where they ran the Melbourne nerf scene at its citywide HVZ event for approximately 7 years. He's most infamously known as Make Test Battle, the wonderfully, according to him, weird guy who loves to dress up as a wizard in the nerf community. He's currently the co-owner of Flywheel the World and Merge Masters, with a dash of YouTubing in his spare time on the side. He was the captain of the Yellow Team at the Stalking Dead and the totally brilliant genius behind this episode idea. So, let's get started. We're going to actually start with Caster. So, when did you, Caster, get into the hobby, and why nerf?
Hello. I got in the hobby 2009, not 2029, not in the future, but all good. And it's, I started with, I moved to Australia, took over HVZ Melbourne and HVZ in Melbourne Nerf, and we did a citywide Nerf event, which I do not recommend because Melbourne had the population of LA at that time. And we just kept nerfing, and I kind of got into Nerf because I like to build things. And normally the things I build, which were like trebuchets back in the day, I could not shoot at people for very, very many reasons. But yeah, this way, in Nerf, I can, make a blaster and shoot people with them. It's fun.
I got into this hobby, so many years ago now. Probably 10 years. Because of Ryan. Ryan really loves Nerf. So I got introduced from Ryan, and I honestly was just a observer for a very quite a bit of time, until the first Ragnarok actually happened, and I kind of fell in love in the comp scene. And that's when I started to really be like, I want to do this. I want to do comp. And I also really enjoyed going to all the different HVZs, and seeing how everybody played, what blasters they were using. Because I just honestly really enjoy watching everybody's creativity in designing their blasters, designing their setup. And so that's kind of why I'm in the Nerf hobby.
So I'm Dr. Flux, and why I joined the Nerf hobby. So I've been in the hobby for about was it 2019? So we had 6 years, 7 years, and I joined because I basically was thrifting and I found a Nerf rival Nemesis, and it just kind of stood out. I was like, what is this? I had just never seen, a Nerf blaster that looked like that. And so it was only I think it was under $10. It was really cheap. So I'm like, I'm just going to grab this and play with it. And I went on eBay and I was just kind of looking online. I was like, oh, these things are actually pretty expensive. So I took it home and I was just kind of messing around with it. I ended up going to Walmart and buying the actual official rival rounds, which were just way too much money. I bought a pack of the, was it D batteries or C, whatever batteries it takes. And I was playing with it. I was like, man, this is really cool. I had no idea that Nerf evolved to make stuff like this. So really quickly after that, the batteries ran out and I was like, okay, well, that sucks. So I was like, well, maybe there's some more I can do with this thing. So I went online and I ran into an added darts modding tutorial on how to 3S lipo a Nemesis, and I was like, okay. And then I started to kind of look more and more, and I was like, wow, there's an entire hobby. There's an entire community of people that are modifying blasters and going to events and stuff. And yeah, I was pretty much hooked after that.
I have been in the scene for a little bit. I mean, definitely not as long as some people, but I know that one of the things that I had been wanting to go to for the past 7 years was I had heard about Ragnarok Oktoberfest back in 2018. I was not able to go at that time, and then COVID, and then work, and various different things, and then finally, I was able to go. For the three of you on here, from my understanding, y'all are not East Coasters. We're the Beast Coast, right? Y'all are West Coast, Best Coast, whatever that is. But your main event is Ragnarok Oktoberfest. So I figured we could talk about what exactly Ragnarok Oktoberfest is and how y'all came to hear about it.
I know me and Ryan actually heard about it before we officially became what it is in 2018. I think that was actually the first year that the whole HVZ, so the human versus, gotta count them as you go, right? Was born, but before that, it was actually just a little camp out, and you did a lot of modding, and then apparently you would play. And we were gonna go the one year we learned about it, but then California had their horrible fires near San Jose, so we didn't go. And I think that was the year where J-Mom and Foam Blast also heard about it, and they kind of transformed it to be this huge event in 2018.
Ragnarok originally there were so many groups in the Bay Area. They all had their separate games, but for Ragnarok Oktoberfest, which was originally a week-long event, they'd all the groups would kind of come together, and everyone would go to one group, and then you go to the next for the entire week. There was a mod party in the middle, and it's J-Mom kind of took some reins as it got a little it's hard. Large groups, large events are hard, and J-Mom kind of took control of it in the best way possible and started this crazy event with a boss fight at the end, a PvP survival LARP with zombies, and it's just, yeah, it's been awesome ever since. Yeah.
What year was the dragon? There was a year with the dragon and like the bicycle that like hitched the dragon.
I think that one was.
I was trying to think. Yeah, this year was a train.
And then there was the like octopus one, kind of weird one.
I remember the octopus one, but I remember the dragon specifically. That one really made me be like, I have to get out there. I don't know how or when, but this needs to happen. And it's almost like y'all knew that I was coming over because y'all just decided to have a hype train, you know?
Yeah.
You're already riding it. That's what this podcast is, okay? Like, you know, you got to trigger me like that. Like, it was great. What were your first impressions of the very first Ragnarok each of you went to, and ultimately what convinced you to come out to a more LARP-focused event compared to other events out there?
Yeah, for me, the first one I ever went to was it was like 3 years ago. It was when they had, I think it was pirate themed. And we have like a local event here in Oregon. I think it's called, I think it's called Afterworlds. And that one is like pure LARPing. It's like more so LARPing than this. It's because I think you have to like remember rules and character stats and all that kind of stuff. But they do still use blasters. So I was really looking at that one to go to that one. I never got a chance to go. So when I saw Ragnar Oktoberfest, I was like, well, that seems like a kind of Afterworlds light, you know, because it's like not as in depth. Like you have to do a bunch of like studying and research to play the Afterworlds game. Whereas like Ragnarok, you can show up and listen to the rule briefings and be somewhat familiar with the game and then kind of jump into it and have a lot of fun. So that's what kind of hooked me.
Yeah, I'm a dirty, rotten LARPer. I LARPed before I nerfed. I was the guy yelling, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
And having the wizard robe.
Yeah.
So,
what? Caster? What?
Yeah, I know. Crazy. I own more wizard robes and wizard hats than an adult human should own. It is half my wardrobe. And that's just my walking around wizard robes. But I love the LARP aspect, the weird role playing thing. I will write my 40-page backstory, for a character. And every year, that I've got back into Ragnarok. So I went back in 2018 was my first one with Jormungand. And then I came back last year for Cyberpunk. I made a costume. So I had a Cyberpunk, wizard robe last year with like this.
That was really cool, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Really it was held together with hot glue, duct tape, and a dream because I did it last minute. This year I did a duster and I had like teeth and mimic faces all over it, and I had my cowboy hat with the demon horns and eyes. I a lot of fun. I will always go way too much on a costume if I can, any excuse. And yeah, no, it's as Flux said, it is like LARP light, which I think is great for people getting their feet wet into it. Because you just show up for a thing. You don't have to read this 20-page manual of if you get hit by this weird thing with a tag on it, you have to read the tag, you have to remember where you get hit, that you have to deduct your HP, or you get hit by a bow, but you hit by the whole bow in the back, and it's, you know, the Mars is currently in retrograde. That means your health is at this thing now. It's easy. It's just like, okay, here's the basic setup, and you learn it really quickly.
Mm-hmm. I remember I LARPed once, and it was my senior year of college, and I give them a lot of respect. But it is a lot of that point tracking, and it's a lot of just 48 hours of role play.
It
and
is.
Being, you know, the character and knowing my points and doing the math and like you said, whereas for nerf, if you're hit, it's a lot simpler.
What weapons did you use when you LARPed the one time?
Oh boy, you're
Yeah.
talking 2016.
Yeah.
My
This
fist?
reveals punch people. It was weird. Everyone was angry about it, but I thought it was LARP.
My name was Chicago Rhodes. All right, you can come up with your own interpretation from that.
I'll start with this, actually. My first HVZ was End War 2018, and it was like the Disney themed, and I went to Mission Zero, and their mods were like all dressed up, and it was a really fun experience. I remember the mod was basically repeating the phrase like "Would you kindly," and I was like, "This is BioShock. You're evil. I know it. Can I shoot you now?" And he's like, "No," and I'm like, "But I know." And then the next one I went to was Rag, and that brought in a whole nother element. It wasn't actually as LARPy focused at that time, I would say. It was really like the human versus human, and it was like so fun. It's so entertaining because you get the people that like bargain and like betray each other. And it's a lot of fun, and I'm not very trusting. So I was always waiting for that, like the stab in the back. And it was like a lot of fun. And it was like, it brought like a lot more like almost like a real world scenario of like, if it was the end of the world, you would have like these factions and you'd be kind of duking it out for resources. So I just fell in love with it. And I think like every year I'm just like really enjoy watching, like I said, the stabbing in the back, who can actually makes the truth, and just like how each person kind of plays, because there's a lot of different actual ways to play in Ragnarok. This past year, the first year you joined, it was really, really interesting because before you only got 10 human lives.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and so that was a huge, I think, mechanic that made people play a lot more safer. And then in the Cyberpunk one was also interesting because that year you were basically safe from the zombie captain and zombies twice. So you got like 2 lives. So that added a lot of interesting mechanics that you weren't expecting from people. So I think like each year they kind of like tweak it just a little bit, and to kind of see how it plays out. And it hasn't played out the same.
Speaking of the weekend, from my understanding, all 3 of us, putting the Stalking Dead aside, were involved in every aspect of the weekend. So I wanted to discuss that a little bit, kind of get a flavor from each of your ends of things with the weekend and how we felt that things transpired. Now, the Blaster Expo, I will say this was the day that I showed up. I did not go. I went hiking instead. I'm going to go to the expo. I promise. Each of you, I believe, was a vendor. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was.
Out of Darts was. I ended up going into I was running the Build a Blaster workshop. So I was pretty much caught up with that all day, during the entire.
How did that go?
It was great. So the second year I've done it. First year we did like the Domacheski blaster. This year we did out of Darts had a little rocket. It was basically like the Dart Zone Solo, but it's like a little rocket version. So it's usually it's 50 people that get in there. We just let 50 people grab kits, and then we sit there and kind of, just have people build the blasters. If they have any questions, we kind of, help them out. And give them all the tools and everything they need, and it's usually super positive, and everyone's really happy to get a blaster. And then this year, it shot mega darts, so you could actually use it in the event, in the HVZ the next day. So it was pretty nice. But yeah, there's no casualties or anything. All the blasters worked, and everyone got their blaster, and we even had some extras to hand out. So it was a super positive event. And I was able to get into the expo briefly and just kind of make rounds. And yeah, the booths looked great, and everyone, had some really cool stuff. And I got to see some of the cool things that people were working on. But yeah, super good event.
Yeah, I think we're always looking to add something new to the expo. And I think like last year it was Dr. Flux thing, and then we also did like podcasting. I think we want that to come back because it was kind of fun, because it was a panel. People got to listen, ask questions. I think it was really more engaging. I do think like this year it seemed a little bit lighter than normal, but it was still good. Like, still had a lot of people modding in the center. And then outside they had like a little game that was being ran that you could like, I think you're like robbing something. I never got to go in because I was being a vendor. But yeah, no, like I think every year we're trying to upgrade it, try to upscale it.
I ran a booth, and I ran one of the panels. We did the Merge Masters. I will say with the booth, if you're ever selling ice cream in a gym, give it more than a week thought process of how to get the ice, because that was a bit of a nightmare. Because I sold root beer floats, because I'm like, well, I'm going to make my booth look a bit like a saloon. So I kind of just shopped a saloon on a few banners and called that a day, and then handed out root beer floats, which worked out a little bit well because the normal food catering guy wasn't able to make it for the Friday. So I handed out a lot of root beer floats. I had way too many left over as well. It was fun. It did feel a bit lighter, but we had more foot traffic if people weren't staying as long as what it really kind of seemed like. The panel this year, we actually had a good 40 people sit through the whole thing of me and Mr. Nathan talking about Merge Masters, which I was shocked. I'm like, we're just two old dudes going, remember back in the day? And people sat around for it, which is great. I'd love to see more panels, and we actually get more like a convention style thing going for Friday.
Yeah. That's what we've been also like bringing up every time it kind of comes up, is like more panels, more podcasting, more like being involved. Might be even cool to like run multiple, build a blaster.
Maybe some sort of a podcast with someone Archer that hosts. We could have that live. I don't know.
Maybe this is my debut into the Blaster Expo. Hey, a live recording. Who wants to come on a live recording of Fast Track, guys? Remind me in August, and I'll put in for it. How's that sound? You could convince me. It's fine. I am due. I have 2 years to make up for it, so it's okay. Moving on to our main event, which was the Stalking Dead with cowboys and such. Very interesting for me, because this was my very first rag. This was my very first Stalking Dead, and it was also my very first as captain. They put me on red team or whatever. Not that I was complaining. I kept calling people the Red Bandits in a southern accent the entire day. And honestly, maybe because I'm used to the larger events, it felt like a homecoming of sorts. Did this feel like a homecoming for you as well? Or did this just feel very par the course compared to previous years?
Yeah, it felt like it was a little par for the course. This is my second year being captain, but it's also I only get to nerf now once or twice a year, as opposed to when I first started nerfing, which was every weekend. So it's a bit of it's just like, yes, these are my people. I actually can control my people because I'm a captain. Go, my people. Sacrifice yourselves for my victory. And it's fun. It's great. I did sacrifice a lot of people when I realized that there was the reset happening. Some of Team Yellow caught on. They weren't happy about it. Other Team Yellow were all for it. So that
Kill
way
off my own people.
they exactly.
You just sacrifice
Great
my
captain,
people.
10 out of 10.
Wait, what team am I on?
Yeah, exactly. It was just a numbers game, and then they got
No.
resurrected. Everyone was fine. There was only a little bit of violence. But it was good. We had some very wacky people. I did want to ask if either of you two noticed my yellow team member that kept poking his head into the base. Jimmy, shout out to him. He kept taking pictures with his phone of anything you guys were working on, and that's what we copied to get puzzles done.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I believe
awesome.
towards the end I did because things were going on with my puzzle makers, and I'm god terrible at puzzle anything, especially with how cryptic Ragnarok is. So once I lost my puzzle makers, I figured you guys were involved in some way, and you just heard me screaming in poor Tennessee accent.
Great Tennessee accent.
I think we had some alliance yellow team and blue, right? I remember being pretty friendly with yellow.
Oh yeah.
Because
We
we're sharing
course you were.
secrets and what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red-
We also had an
Red was
alliance
so
with a lot of
aggressive.
red members. And then we also told Red that we didn't have alliance with Blue, and we told Blue we didn't have alliance with Red. Yeah. And I told Yellow that we had an alliance with no one. So no one knew what was going on, which is great.
That sounds about right.
And I just wanted Miss Maybelle the cow back. Y'all taking my cow from me? Oh my god.
I just remember there was a line. I kept calling it, we called it like the front line, because there's just a line with Red. And there's this like constant battling. I'm like, why are we battling so much in this area? It's like, we don't know. It's always been like that. We just keep fighting.
Yeah, I printed out a map of the, like just a Google image map, and I had little chess pieces. So we kept checking on your guys' battlement line and moving chess pieces like they were there. And like, they're still there. I'm like, cool, let them do it. In fact, try to keep them fighting. While I send other yellow team to their own death over and over again. It was good.
I was chatting with Tark the week before, and I was able to finalize my teammate count by the night before. This was also how I was able to get most of my Orca and Magic Smoke teammates on the same team. I had no idea what I was doing, to be abundantly clear, but I tried to do a decent job of not showing it. And now that you're saying that Red kept going after Blue, it was probably me pointing the finger, Jessie running his crew, and Orca and Magic Smoke going after Blue team.
Yeah, it felt a lot of heat. It's like, okay.
Yeah, because they kept getting clues for me.
Yeah.
And then we needed to find a clue that got shifted at some point. And then I got involved trying to protect them, and all of Blue team, y'all were trying to come after us. No bounties whatsoever.
I was kind of just leaning in. I don't know if you guys did this, where you just kind of lean into because team captains were like immune or invincible for most of the day. So
yes.
I would just put myself in really dangerous spots and kind of like rally the troops, which is kind of cool. I started the code breakers or whatever, is like a group of people that would just sit and take what we bring them and try to crack codes. So I tried to like get that set up as soon as we had enough intel to work. It's a little chaotic though. So it's just like trying to get people, like, people go this way, they go that way. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm by myself. Cool. So I don't know. I tried to plan, but I found like in these type of things, like sometimes planning doesn't go as planned. So why try?
Herding cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't recommend anyone do this, because I nominated like lieutenants, and I'm like, okay, so I know you 4 people. You guys will keep trying to get people. My base setup is always my biggest kind of pet peeve. So like I said, I printed out a map. I had the chess pieces, so it was just a satellite image from Google Maps of the campus, and I marked off the areas where people are, where the bases are. I used just 3D printed, and then I brought extra tables and extra easy ups for and light and cat cat litter box thing, because last year there was a lot of poop at Team Yellow's base last year during the Cyberpunk one. So I didn't want that to happen again. So I made sure I was a little overly prepared. And your plan works till the game starts and then it stops working.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was good. I had a lot of chaos. We had a guy who was amazing at hacky sack, and I'm just like, hey, you're the hacky sack captain now. You live there until you don't want to anymore. And he not hacky sack, cornhole.
Yeah, I'm interested.
He had a hacky sack on him, so that's why I called him the hacky sack guard. But yeah, he kept doing cornhole, and he's like, no, I love this. I'm like, great. You pick 5 people. Those are your bodyguards. You live there now. I think he played cornhole for like 90% of the event. He was having a blast, so yeah.
Phenomenal.
I start months and months before reg. It goes all into the costume. I want to look the best to try to give people like a really good experience. Like once again, I think that just like resonates from like my first HVZ and how it was like so memorable, that I just like want to bring it to other people. And I honestly thought this year would probably be the hardest year to turn humans, and it was the easiest, to a point where I stopped going after humans for like a solid 3 hours. It was interesting because I think this year I got one human within like 30 seconds of the game starting, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. And then I turned around, and I think within 5 or 10 more minutes, I got a second person. And then it almost kind of became the, like, are you going to run? Please run. Please run away from me. And by, I think, the end of the first, like, round, there was children turned. And when there are children turned, it is usually a bad sign. Yeah. So I think it was like into mission 2 when Tarek came up to me and he was like, go wild because we might have to reset. It was bad. And I thought, honestly, because like I can only walk and everybody only had like 5 seconds downtime. So I thought it was going to be like really hard to turn people. And I was like, man, this is, I don't know how fun this one's going to be. But then it became the complete opposite. And I was like in shock. And I think like a lot of it was because the humans no longer had their 10 lives. So everybody was kind of playing crazy and not really watching their surroundings. I think my favorite turn was somebody that was like on his like headset giving out like information to his team, and like I just slowly walked up to him with my like sword and tapped him, and he was like, am I out? And I was like, yeah, you're out. So yeah, it was,
how was the look on his face?
It was like it was shock of like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, so there was like so this year I think was like really easy going for me. But I think each year is like a different format. So I'm trying to like, I always have to like monitor how many people I'm turning and try to, like, you know, not turn too many too fast, but also try to still be scary. And I don't think I was really, like, as scary this year because I was not really actively trying to turn, but I was, like, trying to put myself into, like, situations that, like, force people to run off or, like, change up what they're doing. So yeah, I was, like, I think going further into bases than I usually do just to, like, see what was happening.
What would you say were standout elements this year, and were there any challenges for your teams? I feel like we've touched upon a few of these, but I know the urge to not kill humans before lunch is strong. I mean, it happened anyway, but was there anything in particular that was notable this year?
I think for me it was, like, because humans were afraid of their lives, and especially humans, like, they weren't fully aware of their surroundings, because it didn't matter if you, like, walked out and got, like, shot by the yellow team, you would just go back and restart. Where I think, like, previous years, that, like, you had to be cautious, so you're just more aware of your surroundings. And I think that, like, played a huge factor that I wasn't prepared for at all. And it's actually really interesting because I also thought the year before, like, the Cyberpunk where they actually had 2 lives, I thought that would be, like, hard. But it like brought a very interesting mechanic, because people were trading their extra lives to me. So it was like, you know, it's like, it's kind of like those give and takes. Like, you don't really, at least for the zombie capital, you really don't know what to expect. So you just go with the flow, and try to, like, be there for the players in a sense, like, try to give them a good time.
Let's talk a little bit about the night play, right? So I haven't done night play in quite some time and have a hype train involved as a game mechanic. I totally was not squealing during the process. What were your general thoughts after the final round? I know we talked a little bit about how players had the option of, Jessie, how you said, basically picking their experience and whether they wanted to go out as a human or as a zombie. But amongst your teams, up to the end, after the final boss round, how would you say energy was shared at the end amongst your teams? Would you say that the energy was very high? Was there a shift? What were your experiences with that?
So from what I understand, like, didn't we all kind of merge together at the end? I thought we're all pretty much one team at that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, overall, it seemed pretty positive, and people like you're saying, people who wanted to say zombies could be zombie. If you want to be human, you could be human. I personally, like, was looking forward to the end because of the whole invulnerability stuff throughout the day, and I don't know. I kind of like, because I played as Nautic team captain the prior 2 years, and I personally had more fun with that feeling of, like, oh no, you know, am I going to get tagged out or this or that? Like, so at the end, I was like, okay, cool, I'll be vulnerable again, but I didn't feel too much, like, risk. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. Is this kind of weird? Just, it's like a lot of chaos, and I couldn't really tell, like. Part of the reason too is, like, I wear glasses, and the Dr. Flux glasses are not prescription, and so I already have a hard time seeing. And then they're also shades, like they're sunglasses, so I actually can't see too well at the end of the day. And so, like, that was a big factor for the whole, like, confusion of, like, oh, what's going on, what's happening. But I did survive, and from what I could tell, it was a pretty positive experience for everyone. But yeah, that was just, like, my experience, which probably wasn't ideal. Is
it the same pink glasses that you wear for?
So I'm like really obsessed on side eye protection because I feel like if you get shot in the side, like it can be like a lot of damage. So I make sure to wear like these like Oakleys that have like side guards. But the problem is they're like kind of dark. So I don't know. I need to get some different type of eye pro, I guess, for HVZ type stuff.
Have you thought about getting, you could do what I've done recently. So a big issue I've had, especially when I do comp, I have glasses from the incident, insert 2023, where I have an elastic band that covers all of my eye. But the downside to that is that when I sweat, I fog very easily. Even in practice, it was always leading up to RAG 5v5. It was always a challenge. But I've recently found a solution where I'll have shop glasses. And with the shop glasses, there's like a suction retainer that I use. And it still offers that side protection while still having the retainer to make sure that it doesn't fall off my face.
Yeah.
Maybe you could look into that.
I've been looking at
Amazon. I think mine was like $10, so
I've been looking
it's
at
pretty cheap.
mesh goggles. They're pretty nice too.
Mesh is good too. I don't know about overnight play. I will say you'll want clear for that, but during the day, I have a mesh too, and I recommend it. It's a good time.
Yeah, they make these safety glasses with these micro fans in the stems of the glasses that go in the ear, and they shoot forward. They dry out your eyes a little bit, but they prevent fogging, and they actually help you keep cool as well if it's really hot. They're a little expensive, and you can get prescription for them. And they have the I'm with you there with the side eye protection. I've been shot too many times in the eye with safeties on. So it's just like, you need like a full wraparound at the minimum. For that last train of it, I don't know what happened. I don't know if like someone put something in the water. Instead of normally like 30% of the team listens to me, 70% does whatever they want. I had a good like 70% of the team listening to me of Team Yellow. And I'm like, where were you guys the rest of the game when I was trying to kill you all really quick? Didn't
the boss get taken out pretty fast?
Yeah,
yes.
It was super
like,
fast.
Very.
Apparently there were like hidden buttons. And the zombies didn't know about it. So the zombies weren't like actively trying to get people off of buttons. And like the longer you held the buttons, I think it like gave you bonuses or something. And so the boss went down super fast. But I think there was like 3 buttons. Like there's a lot of buttons. So it wasn't just like a single spot.
Archer was holding down a button, but actually most of Team Red, I was just saying, was volleying more or less at Archer, but it was hitting zombies. So I'm like, that works.
Mm-hmm.
little friendly fire, never hurt anyone. And then Team Yellow just held the other one. We had blue as well, and then we had a lot of people who were just like amazing shots, just going at the train and just hit it. And I'm just looking at it because I'm standing on the hill. I'm like, how are you? It's night. Most of you guys are like Flux wearing sunglasses. How are you guys so accurate? What's going on?
How was your guys' darts? Did you have a lot of darts at the end? Because I remember struggling. Like I think I barely had a couple mags at the end.
I was trying to scavenge, but it got to a point where Archer does what Archer does best, and that was hype the masses around her because I had 1 dart left.
Yeah.
A single, like 1, maybe 2. I was pretty useless after that.
Just a lot of just empty revving.
Stalking Dead, I will say, had like record attendance to a point where we ran out of short darts while giving out ammo.
I think we had a proton pack or infinite pack or like a nemesis or something with a hopper, and I remember trying to like get people to like help fill that person's hopper up for the last stand, which is a big help.
Yeah, horde busting. If you have someone with just like that, just the rival wall of foam, it's great. You're not going to hit too many people, but the zombies usually back away enough because of it.
No, if you're a player, I think you really want to try to have like a blaster, like even if it's like a single shot that uses like all the different like ammos. because then you have better chance of actually having ammo to use constantly.
As we were finishing up with the night play of the Stalking Dead and Choo Choo Hype Trains, friggin' amazing, we moved into the next day, which was going to take us into the 5v5 King of the Hill. This was my first King of the Hill tournament. It was also my first as a team captain for a game that I never competed in, that I didn't know I was captain for until our very first match. I hang out a lot with Orca and, my own home team, Magic Smoke, so I learned a lot from those guys and a few Nebula folks as well. So it was a great day overall. I thought that we could briefly discuss King of the Hill versus Flag Dash a little bit and what your roles were during the day.
I find King of the Hill is really about like how long you can keep your stamina going, because of those resets, right? Those respawns, the running, the back and forth, the constant. Like, you have to like be able to like be on top of it for like this whole 6 minutes. And I think a lot of people that like come from Flag Dash is like, I feel like that's the thing that like is really, really different in my opinion, is those respawns. But I think King of the Hill is my favorite game type. Because part of it is I'm not really a sprinter. And I view Flag Dash as like a lot of sprinting.
Would you feel that this compared to Flag Dash is much more, how shall we say, cardio aggressive?
Yes. Especially for respawning. Because in the past we had 3 buckets. So you had the one in the center and then the one at your spawn camp. And before, there was no safe bound. So if your whole team got wiped out, they can literally basically just be staring you down.
I spent the whole day at there's a group called Byways LARP that runs games during the tournament, and I just always have a blast with that group. The first time I did it was the Cyberpunk one, but they just have like these really creative, like interesting game modes that I don't know. Like this year it was the different, like there's like a bunch of gangs that are like, doing these different missions to try to like become like the richest and the best. It kind of felt like a little bit like pirate stuff. I don't know. I know Caster, you played some of the games too, right?
I filmed. I was. I
filmed. That's right.
Yeah, so I filmed it. Yeah, the Alamo was awesome.
There was like a Last Stand Alamo type scene. There was like all the different, because there's a lot of groups. It's like I think there was like 20 teams or something. It was a lot. It was like 14 teams, 20 teams, and it's small teams, and you're all trying to like survive. And there was one where there's like bounties, and I don't know. It's like all the game modes are just super fun. So I spent like the entire day over there. And then at the end of the day, like I did go and see because I had to see the winning team, because obviously Added Darts is sponsors a lot of teams and whatnot. So that's why I say guilty pleasure, because like I should have been there because of all the involvement with Added Darts and everything, and watch the teams play and everything. But yeah, I went and indulged myself.
I mean, hey, if it makes you feel any better, our coach, Dart Sweep, was our coach the majority of the day, and I don't know how he crafted it, but he was coach during our matches, and then when he wasn't at our matches, he was with you guys.
Yeah.
And then somehow he magically made it in time during our matches.
It's weird. Like it was casual, but it wasn't. Like I'm going to be honest. Like I hate saying it, but like I actually have more fun at the Byways LARP stuff than like the HVC. Like that's how much I love their stuff. I don't know. It's just like this. It's the storytelling, because that's a little bit more. It's obviously more LARP a little bit, and it's just like. There's a lot of like thought that goes into like the game modes and what they're trying to achieve and everything. I don't know. It just feels like it's just a lot of fun. I don't know how to explain it.
The Super Stock it's a different game type, and it's kind of what a lot of people when they first got into nerf. That's what they kind of experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You
just
go,
like,
you meet
yeah,
up in a
go
field,
hard.
you go shoot each other.
Or go home.
And it's fun. They added some story elements. They added some LARP. And it was a lot of fun. The rules were simple enough to follow. You could pick it up in like a minute or so. And
that guy was
but
great.
it was still structured enough. And people, honestly, they went harder on Sunday at the Super Stock thing than the Stalking Dead a lot of the time. Remember the guy who was running it, but shout out to him giving the kind of the last stand speech for the Alamo. Oh, that was good. But yeah, I was also at the King of the Hill match. I am not familiar with comp. I have seen it a couple times from a distance, and this was and then randomly I was starting to film a little bit, take some pictures, and I got dragged into shoutcasting a match, having no clue what's going on. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. As you said, it did seem very cardio intensive than what I saw before, but what I've seen before is more of the quick flag stuff. And I was just making up positions. I'm like, okay, here's number 34 going down. He's doing the French girl pose, just laying there. Someone's painting them like darts, and they're out. And there's a crab walking up, and the guy's just looking at me like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just making crap up."
Things are happening.
Things are happening. Darts are happening. It was good, and I know you did shoutcasting as well, Archer, right? For a little bit.
I did, yeah.
And like I went back to watch some of the shoutcast, and it was good. And that I think that helps make the game more digestible for the masses, for lack of a better word, the casual players, and just people just kind of looking like, what's going on here? Do you have the people kind of explaining what's happening, but also adding a bit of character? Because none of us, none of us really did the normal shoutcast. This person doing this person do this. Everyone added a bit of exaggeration to it, but it was great. It was phenomenal, and I can't remember. I'm so terrible with names. It's Casual Felon was the one, right? That was shoutcasting. Yeah. Yeah, he is phenomenal. He just didn't stop. I've shoutcasted esports matches, and I get tired after 2 hours.
He's got a good radio voice, too.
Oh, he's got a great radio voice. And he was still going. Like, after the whole event, he was still just yapping away. And I'm like, dude, I have to, like, when I live stream for like a few hours, I have to like rest my voice sometimes. And you haven't stopped. When do you breathe? But it was, just shout out to him. It was great. But yeah, the matches themselves were phenomenal. It's interesting that you say that it was a new rule set, because it didn't look like that from the layman's perspective. It looked like everyone knew what they were doing.
Well, you have to if you want to win. You have to know the rules to win. Yeah, I think like part of it though is like comp today is different from comp in like 2018 and like I think it was going in 17. Cause like back then it was like a lot of new teams. And a lot of people being like, I want to try this. So I think like comp back then you almost had like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 new teams that don't even really like, they're just trying it. They just got like a group of friends together and just like, let's do this. Where nowadays it's like people practice comp. They go in it with the mindset of like, this is the thing I'm doing. And you don't really see as many as like those like last minute freshly joined teams of like, I just want to try this out. It's like teams that like they might be like new, but it's a new mixture of like comp people, or there's like already previous comp people on their team that like help guide the new people on their team. So it's like a lot of different mixtures, and I think you see that more and more, where it's always super competitive now. Me and Jang are both super competitive and like understand each other fully. I usually actually have to like take a step back and basically like trick myself that I'm just playing a game so I don't become that kind of like jerk comp person, and get super, super disappointed at a loss. Last year, I wasn't portraying what I wanted to our new people, and they didn't like appreciate it because I was like trying to do the whole like just set your goal, don't focus on winning. And part of that is like they were brand new. It was comp, right? And we're going against extreme comp players, right? And you don't want to go against a team and have that like devastating loss because that's hard to come back from, right? So I was like trying to do the whole like pick a goal that you personally want to do, right? Like, and have that as your win because you can build momentum throughout the day from that. I didn't say it right in the sense, so a lot of people were like, you're just a downer. And I'm like, no, I'm just like trying to kind of like be realistic. Like, we're going up against like really, really great people. So like we could be really, really great up here in Waffle, but once you step on like the playing field with comp, you're going against like some of the greatest teams. And to have a loss, it could be crippling the day of your competition.
I mean, I don't think that's anything that you should put as a discredit onto yourself. Like, you could be super experienced. I mean, I've been doing comp for 6 years and I'm very much still learning. Like, I'm still doing silly little things where I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Okay, I gotta pick up, I gotta keep going, or whatever. I have like my own frustrations with that. And I hear where you're coming from, where it's challenging when you get into that headspace. It's really hard to get yourself out of that and like stay focused on like the objective and trying to be the best player you can possibly be. I know when I was captaining for Magic Space Whales, we're starting our first match and just everything was going wrong. The chronograph was not reading right. Two of my competitors couldn't use their signature blasters, so they were already in a bad mindset. People kept asking me what the lineups were, and then I realized people thought that I was the captain. And later on, I had spoken with, a couple of the more experienced guys about it, and they were like, well, why didn't you say that you're not captain? And I said, I would have added more stress for my team that was on the start line. So at that point, it was just not an option. So I went with it as best I could. I definitely, in our second match in particular, there were definitely not good call outs that I had made with super experienced players on my team. But I think for me, I definitely took a minute. I dart swept and I tried to, just adapt as best as I could and try to not put myself in that space where it was like, hey, here are these super experienced teams. I don't know if we could beat them. I just tried to utilize what best I knew of the players that I had to, like you said, attain the goals for our team as best as we possibly could. So, it's you don't really know until day of. So I don't think it's any fault on your end in, just adapting and, learning from your mistakes, because at the end of the day, that's any sport, right? Like,
Yep.
We're all learning as best we can, no matter how experienced we are, and that's how we grow as people, right?
Yep.
So I don't think that's anything you should discredit yourself on. If anything, I would see that as a more positive experience because you're learning and overcoming from that.
Oh yeah, no. This year though, it was definitely a lot more positive. And I think like our team just had like a better mindset overall.
Y'all played extremely well. I just want to throw that out there.
Yep.
You were definitely a threat for us for sure.
Yeah, I think our funnest match, hands down, was against Dauntless. Because playing against Jang. You know, it's like it's the old rivals. We go way back. And it was a close match. It was fun. And I think like win or lose, like both team, you're always happy for the other team, but it was just like one of those ones where you're like, I don't even care if I won. This was like the most amazing match of the day. Like, and I really enjoy those matches where you're just like, we fought so hard, we put it all out there, and it was just, I don't know, just like when you get to play against your like friends, it just adds that much more like intense value, because you don't always know, like you don't always get to play against your friends, right? In comp, like you don't know what your lineup's gonna be.
If you've played 100%, then win or lose, you've already won. That sounds like a Hallmark card, but it is true because that's how you grow and that's how you learn.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on a t-shirt.
What was the biggest takeaway for each of you? And if y'all were to come back again, as if you were to not come back again, what would you like to see from future rag captains, zombie queens, enthusiasts, and beyond for 2026?
So the highlight for me was actually not at the event itself, because this is like the one time I meet people I chat with all the time. I know Silver Fox, Nathan, Mr. Nathan, and a bunch of us, Brett. We went to Denny's after Friday night, I think it was. And we just kind of, shot the proverbial shit, Nerf hobby and stuff. And it's really what I recommend always going to these events. Not for the event, because the events are amazing, but you hang out with people that you've chatted with on the internet for forever, and you just get to put a face to the name, and yeah, just have fun, hang out. What I want to see from next year, because I am going next year, they can't stop me. I'm down to be captain again, but would happily step back if someone else wanted to be. I want to see more weird costumes from everyone.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for that. I love just seeing the merge of Nerf with costumes and cosplay and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm right with you on the whole. Like we go to these things to, you talk online and you see people in your Discord and whatnot, but yeah, you go to these events and you get to actually mingle and see all the people you've been talking to online with. So that's really what it's about for me too, just to meet up and see people. Big takeaway or main thing I had was I really like the Build a Blaster workshop. Like I like it kind of feels like a big positive experience for a lot of people, and especially when I see new people, like maybe a mom and a kid, or like people like parents that are like, oh, what's this thing, and oh, we built a blaster together. It kind of warms my heart to see that kind of interaction. So like I get the most reward from hosting that. And then, of course, hanging out with friends and seeing people I haven't seen in a while. But I'll definitely want to go next year, or this 2026, if I can. As of right now, it looks like I will be, but it's not 100%. I really need to get out to Maryland this year. And I have another event that I'm going to that I can't really... Yeah. Because like I didn't go to Maryland last year, and it's that weird feeling of like a void, like that I can't see certain people if I don't go to the East Coast and go to Maryland. But the same can be said for RAG. If I don't make it to RAG, there's going to be people I won't be able to see either. So I think right now, like those are the main two events I really want to go to.
Yeah. My answer are basically the same. It's definitely, my highlight is to talking with all the friends I met online, talking to people I haven't even met and how they got into the Nerf hobby, and just like seeing and hearing everybody's like different experiences. I know on like, I feel like almost every King of the Hill tournament, I'm usually talking to some people that are like literally just passing by and happen to see our event, and they're just like, what is going on here? I don't understand. And you're like going over like the rules and like how Nerf is like an actual sport. And then like kind of like explaining like what the whole weekend is. And then really just also seeing like almost every single year more and more people are like dressing up and really getting into the theme, which is kind of like really nice to see. And I think I can't say what the theme is this year, but I think it's gonna be really more like easier for people to dress up. So I'm hoping to like see a significant more having fun and like dressing up, and just shooting each other and just having a time of their lives.
The highlight, honestly, was just I've been waiting 7 years to go, and then I got to go. If I had to pinpoint it to a specific moment, I've been able to spend a healthy amount of time with Orca Company. They're down in Florida. I live in New Jersey, so how we mashed into like a, the coalition of the power of friendship, I don't know. I just do as I'm told, right? So I was able to spend a healthy amount of time with them when we went on our hike to Pinnacles, and it was great. And, I don't get to talk to Jeremy all that much, or a handful of the Orca guys, so it was great getting to have that experience. And I remember, fast forward, I feel like that experience helped a little bit with when Orca was playing against Red Tide. That was a wicked close match. I believe that was by a 20-point deviation difference, but Orca lost, and Jeremy, the captain of Orca, they have played third consistently for virtually every tournament I could possibly think of. And he just wants to get first, man. I know all of them do because I've gotten to know the team a little bit more, but watching them overcome, Jessie, you had discussed it about, having these high goals of reaching for first and going for first because everybody's hungry for first, but they came just short of it. And the entire team, everybody had to pick up from that. And I remember Jeremy in particular it was very hard on him. And just watching it from the side, I had never seen him like that before. So I remember I had pulled him aside and just captain, I had spoken to him, and I just was very calming, but also hyping him up the only way I knew how. And they just came together. They got to the front. They played out Void. They destroyed Void. Well, maybe I shouldn't say destroyed. They played out Void and they beat Void. And there's footage of me going to Jeremy and just saying see, man, there's nothing to it. I was keeping casual with him, and he gave me the biggest bear hug right before the streaming camera cut out. And it just, I don't know, it was just watching them overcome from such a tight loss like that was really cool to see, because it just shows the power of when you have these relationships over time and how they can come to make you stronger over time in life and competitive and whatever. It's really cool getting to see that. And it was really neat. I loved it. That was definitely a highlight for me. So, looks like we're finishing up here on our episode of That Long Lost Recap. But before we wrap things up, wanted to finish off with a couple of shout-outs. Caster, where can we find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv slash caster_VT. Same with YouTube, youtube.com/caster_VT. And that's when I'm procrastinating and not doing Nerf stuff. I'm playing video games. And then I also do a podcast with Mr. Nathan on Mr. Nathan channel at youtube.com/Mr. Nathan. We do it every fortnight and currently doing Merge Masters, showcasing off awesome integrations.
Well, I help run silverfoxindustries.shop. And then my username on Discord is Unijumper.
Yeah, you could just I don't know, Google Dr. Flux. I'm all over the place. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I also am all over Out of Dark stuff, so I'm doing content over there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just oh yeah, and I'm doing Merge Masters this year, so I'll be poking around in there too.
And then we're gonna see you, all three of you, at RAG 2026. Yes.
It looks like it, yeah.
Nice. Alrighty, friends, and that seems to be about it for this episode. Thank you so much to the three of you for coming on. This has been long overdue, so I genuinely appreciate it. And for everybody else, coming up on our next episode, we're launching into season 2. So this is the part where I say thank you for your support on Fast Track these past 2 years. There's no more surprises, I promise you. We're going to get right into season 2 for you. Be on the lookout for Fast Track to YouTube and Spotify, as I am currently preparing a whole new lineup of podcasts, memories, and moments that are going to help keep this hype train rolling. I love you guys so much. That goes without saying. Y'all truly are my people. So if you wish to be interviewed, be sure to let me know at some point in that time so we can go ahead and make an episode to make that all happen. Until then, stay classy, stay awesome, and I'll see y'all in season 2. Take it easy.